Hello and welcome to my video, lesson 6.9 on volumes of rectangular prisms. Alright, so first of all, if you haven't seen my lesson on area, then please go watch that, as that is definitely prerequisite to volume. You need to know area first, and then you can learn about volume. So area is equal to length times width. When we're talking about rectangles or squares, area equals length times width. So when we tell you that volume equals length times width times height, that also means that I'll use a different color for that, the length and width, since that is the same as this length and width, we can actually just change it to area. So that means that area times height equals volume. So either one of these formulas is perfectly fine. The one we normally use is this first one here. So keep that in mind. Alright, so let's draw ourselves a little bit of a prism here. And then we can try this out. Alright, so we have let's say this is side length 4, this is side length 3, and this is like 6. Let's call that 6. Alright, so that means this is the height. This is how tall our shape here is. I didn't draw it perfectly square here, so I'll just go like that. Oh wow, I just wrecked it. That's alright. There you go. So you can see that we've got a square, or a rectangular prism. If I were to try to draw this out, you would be able to see all those sides. And same thing here, we've got 3 going this way, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 6. And so you could count up all of the little squares or little cubes, but that would be pretty hard, especially since you can't see inside the shape. So that is why we go 3. We say that the volume equals length times width times height. So in this case, we have a length of 6, we have a width of 4, we have a height of 3. So I just usually will multiply two things together first and then simplify after that. And usually we just go like that because the v is implied every time. So usually we just write it like this. Okay, so 6 times 4 is 24. 24 times 3. So 24 times 3 is well, how about I do it the not old-fashioned way, the longhand way, like this, so you guys can see the work that I'm doing in my head. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6. And because it's actually 20 in that position, we go like that, and now we add them. So 72. 72. Alright, so that's really all that there is to this topic. This is a rectangular prism with all sides being different. We can also see maybe an actual cube, and so let's pretend like it is 5 by 5 by 5, and let's pretend I actually drew it right. So 5 by 5 by 5. Well, in that case, you're going to see that volume equals length times width times height. Whoops. Which is in this case 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about a really cool new operation that will be coming up. Not yet, but will be coming up next year probably, like in grade 7. So when we see let's start ahead. Let's start back here. So when we see repeated addition, we say that's multiplication. So repeated addition turns into multiplication. So let's just go like this. Let's say those two are equal. But when we see repeated multiplication, it's not the same as multiplication just by itself. What we have to do is we have to do this cool function. So 5 to the third, or 5 cubed. So some of you may have heard of this when we do 5 times 5 is 5 squared. Those two things are the same. And you can do this for any one. So 5 to the power of 4 would be, let's write it on this side, 5 times 5 times 5, 4 times, right? So this is just a little bit of a aside. This is what you already know, and this stuff here is stuff you're gonna know. All right, so that means that for a cube, a little bit of an aside, but for a cube, it will be cubed, which is pretty cool. So 5 cubed for a cube, which isn't surprising, but is also really cool. Yeah, let's try one more example, and then we'll call it a video. So let's maybe go a long ways on this side. Let's go here. All right, so maybe we've got a 3 by 3 by 8 rectangular prism. So volume equals length times width times height. Volume equals, so length is 8 times width 3 times height 3. And now we can do it the same way I did before, where I would simplify one part first because I find that easier. So 8 times 9 is 72. Oh look, it's the same volume. Even though it's a different shape, it's the exact same volume. It just turns out like that. So I hope this video helps you understand volumes of rectangular prisms a little bit better. Good luck.